Glen shared a few memories from junior high and high school, including going to movies on Saturday nights in Comfrey, his parents meeting with teachers to check on Glen and his brothers, and a mistake Glen made only once in the classroom.
I only have really good memories of high school, really good memories of junior high school. My friends in my class, we were about 50 of us. So you got to know everybody really pretty close in class. I would say that of the 50, 40 of them were farm kids. So they were brought up somewhat similar to us. Some of them had more money than we had. And the only way you knew that is probably when they became about 15, their folks bought them a car. My car cost $50. You know, the Studebaker, 49 Studebaker that I bought was $50. So that's, and I worked hard to get the $50. I would say that I did go to some movies when we were kids, and met a lot of my classmates there. We would all sit together watching a movie. We always you went Saturday night or maybe Friday night, because you always had church. There was no question you were going to go to church, so you had to get up and go to church. But we sort of sat together, probably naughty, threw popcorn at the girls and stuff like that. That cost you 9 cents. I don't know why it was not 10 cents. 9 cents you could get entertained for the evening of going to the show and stuff like that.
And we often would go into Comfrey, a little town of 300, where we went to school, and would go to the movies on Saturday night. And I always thought it was such a long walk from the movie theater down to where my dad would be waiting for us. It actually was 1 block, but it just seemed so far. But that was a tradition on Saturday night, going in and seeing a movie, usually a Western, and with the preliminary cartoons and things. But that's my earliest memories.
So when we got in junior high, Miss Milliken was our teacher, and she was older, and she got cancer, and so she started missing some school. And I remember even visiting, going to her little apartment she lived in, and she passed away. And my dad had gone to Comfrey, the same school that I went to, and my uncle went to that, and his 2 sisters went to this. So going to Comfrey was tradition. And we had the superintendent of that school was a teacher of my dad. So it was, everybody knew everybody in that school. So when Miss Milliken passed away, they needed a teacher, and they recruited my uncle, who was a teacher, but he was a college teacher, and got off kind of at a quarter break, and he came back to school to teach the school. And this was sort of like English, an English class. And, you know, I thought I was pretty smart and stuff like this here. So we were probably about the 2nd or 3rd day that he was there and stuff like this here. And I thought, oh, I'm brave enough. So as everybody was like getting help, I stood up and says, "Hey, Kenny, Kenny, how do you do this?" I tell you, he came down that thing, that row so fast, put his hands on my shoulders and says, "I am not Kenny to you. I am Mr. Taylor, and don't ever make that hair get scared the dickens out of me." Because I saw this, my uncle, you know, who was nice and pleasant, playful. Why would he grab my shoulders? Yeah, that's true. That's true. And boy, I didn't make that mistake again. Well, my folks would invite all the teachers out for dinner, and they'd all come out, and that was a discussion on the boys because they never worried about Margaret. The boys. How are they doing in school? The boys. And so they invited them out. They had a meal and stuff like that and talked over how we were. So that's how all that stuff got passed along. Plus my mom came to school that one day and talked to all the teachers and stuff like that. Yep. I was married when I was a junior in high school. And so it could have been really a very difficult time. At that time, because I was married, I was going to get kicked out of school, was what the principal wanted to do with that. So I missed a couple of weeks while the school board met and voted on if I could continue in school. The school board did meet and did vote that I could stay in school.
When I was at the end of 6th grade, my dad sold the farm. But for that whole year prior to that, Glen took care of the farm and I lived there. The rest of the family rented a house closer to town. My dad was working in there at a feed store, had a grinder, that the feed store had a grinder, and he would go out to different farmers and grind corn for the different animals. And he worked in there. And so Glen took care of the farm his senior year, and I lived with there. And two of us did the plowing and combining, and just harvesting and everything for that whole year. And then the farm was sold, and then Glen left and went to Mankato to go to college.
I had to get up early in the morning and milk the cows and do all the chores. My folks had moved off the farm to another location, so Glenda and I just lived there, and I'd milk the cows, get the stuff done, bring the milk machines in, get off to school. She would wash them and do the things like that. We'd come home at night. I would do the chores. When I got the chores done, I'd get on the tractor and go out and do field work till about 12 o'clock, and then come in. So it was a busy part of my life, but again, it set me up for some other things that I had to do in life really well.